Hello everyone, my name is Dee. Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome back if you have been here before. Today we are going to be doing a real quick what do you need to know right now general reading. And as always, since this is a general reading, please take what resonates and leave the rest. If it does not resonate with you, then that simply means it is not meant for you. With that said, we have pile 1 with selenite, pile 2 with malachite, and pile 3 with fluorite. Hello, my pile 1s. Let's take a look at what you need to know right now. We're just going to pull a couple of cards here today. We will also pull a few oracle cards as well, but just very short and sweet messages that you need to know right now. Okay, let's take a look. My pile 1s, what do you need to know right now? Okay, we have the Hermit, we have the Four of Muskets, and we have a card falling to the floor, and that card is the Nine of Muskets. So basically we have the Hermit and then we have the Four of Wands and the Nine of Wands jumping out here today. I feel like with the Hermit card next to the Four of Wands, a card of stability and security, what we could be being urged to do at this point in time is to go within, kind of to reclaim our peace, if anything else. Like we're being urged to reclaim our peace, reclaim our power in some type of way. The Nine of Wands to me is a card that can indicate somebody who's maybe a bit wounded, a bit defensive, a bit guarded at this point in time. And of course, what that would lead me to feel like is maybe we're being urged to go within because there have been situations within our life at this point in time where we have felt hurt. Like there's been a reason why we are so defensive, wounded, and guarded right now, and why we need to go back within. And I feel like for some of us, you know, there could be many different things or many different ways in which we perhaps try to cover up how upset we are. And this reading is basically here to say, like, it's okay if we spend some time to ourselves, for ourselves, by ourselves. It's okay if we take some time to focus on ourselves and to focus on what it is that we want and what it is that we need to do for ourselves. Personally, almost like something that's coming through to me here is, it's almost like we might feel like we need to surround ourselves with others at this point in time, which of course some of us might feel like we need to do, and if that's the case, then this reading is simply not meant for you. But I feel like what's going on here, and of course this doesn't give much context, but I feel like for some of us, maybe, yet again, there's a reason why we feel hurt, defensive, or guarded at this point in time. And to me, it's almost like other people are trying to... I get this indication, especially because it's the Four of Wands, like other people are almost trying to crowd around us right now. Like other people are trying to make us feel better, but nothing that they're doing is quite as useful or as helpful as what it is that we could be doing for ourselves. And I'm not sure how exactly that makes sense for you, but for me that makes a lot of sense. If I'm in a bad mood, or if I'm very upset, or if I just went through something, the only thing that's going to make me feel better on a personal level is spending some time to myself, for myself, by myself, doing whatever it is that I like to do. You know, whatever your little hobby is, whatever it is that you like to do for yourself. It could be lying in bed, watching TikToks. It could be going on a walk. It could be going to the gym. Whatever the case might be. It almost feels like to me there's something that's going on in your life. You're feeling hurt about it. It feels like there's other people that are trying to... And that's another thing too, like for some of us, the same person that hurt us and made us feel that wounded, made us feel wounded and made us go on defensive mode could be the same person or people that are trying to now support us through whatever they put us through. And again, not sure exactly how that makes perfect sense to you. However, I feel like that could definitely be a possibility here for at least someone who is watching this. And if that's the case, it's more like, no, we need some alone time. We need some alone time right now to get our head back on straight and to figure out what it is that we want to do for ourselves as we move forward to the future. We want to continue to move forward for ourselves, building our own stable, secure future. We want to go back to a place of peacefulness, stability, security, and even happiness for some of us. We don't need the same people or person who put us in this mess to now try to support to now try to support us or be there for us. And again, I don't know exactly how that makes sense, but that's one of the strongest messages that are coming through here. I feel like for many of us, what we're being urged to do is to go within, spend some time to ourselves, for ourselves, by ourselves, doing whatever it is that we love to do. I feel like aside from that message, the Four of Wands would, of course, signify that we do have many different people in our lives that are supporting us. You know, like it's not like we are just a complete and total hermit. There are people in our lives who love, support, and uplift us. Especially, I would say, friends who feel like family as well as our family. Because the Four of Wands to me oftentimes is, of course, a family card. Okay, and whatever it is that we're feeling wounded about or defensive about, we are being urged to begin to go within to try to resolve it. We're being urged to begin to separate ourselves, I would say, from whoever caused the woundedness and the defensiveness of it all. I just personally feel like what's going on here is that we had someone or something hurt us, or we had someone or something not work out for us. And we just need a minute to sit with ourselves, and we need a minute to make ourselves feel better, if that makes sense. And we know that we've got the people who love us, they're supporting us, but it brings me back to something that I originally said, which was almost like nothing that and this is a personal feel, like not it's a personal feeling of mine, like in my opinion, but I feel like for those of us who this is going to resonate for, it's perhaps a personal opinion of yours as well, where it is starting to feel like for you, nothing is going to make me feel better. Like nothing that anybody else can do for me is going to make me feel better. I need to make me feel better. And personally, I feel like that makes a lot of sense, because let's just say even if we're going through something like therapy, your therapist is there to listen, but you're the person that actually does the work throughout therapy. If we're focusing more so on self-love, self-care, and self-healing methods, we're the person that's putting in the work to make ourselves feel better. And I feel like that's something that is coming through here. You know, like at the end of the day, we're putting in whatever work we need to in order to make ourselves feel better. And while we do have our supporters and uplifters around us, which is an absolutely lovely and beautiful thing to see here, we're also beginning to feel like nothing that they can do for me is as important or as special or as meaningful as what I could do for myself. And for me, for a lot of us, it could be perhaps we're beginning to place a stronger focus on whatever healing work we need to do. We're releasing whatever guards we need to release, in healing whatever wounds we have, in taking down our defenses, whatever the case might be. You know, we're again beginning to recognize that we need to put in the work ourselves, and we are beginning to put in the work ourselves. We have the blossoming card here. Let me get one more oracle card out here. Whoop. And we have change. And I feel like even when it comes to like blossoming, or the blossoming card to me is mainly going to signify that we are beginning to open up more. We're beginning to like quite literally, I guess, blossom, you know, like we are beginning to blossom. And with the change card here, of course, that would signify that there are certain changes that are coming about due to the fact that we are beginning to blossom. Perhaps we're beginning to make positive movement forward. Perhaps we're beginning to plan out wherever it is that we want to go next. And I feel like with that blossoming card especially, like once we begin to release our guard, once we begin to release whatever self-limiting beliefs are in place, that's when we're truly going to begin to blossom and to flower, let's say, and real change is going to be made. I also feel like in general, the change card could be an indicator that at times in our past, we might have dealt with change, or we might have dealt with negative things or negative thinking in a completely different way than we are trying to focus on them now. And that's another way in which we are blossoming. To me, this is becoming a message of like we're always growing, healing, and evolving. You know, healing and growing and evolving is a process that never really stops or ends. There isn't a finale when it comes to our own healing or whatever this process of change and healing and blossoming and growing and evolving is. You know, we're constantly growing, healing, and evolving. And I feel like that's what this is highlighting here. You know, this is going to be a constant thing. We are I feel like what the change is now, or what the difference could be, is we're really beginning to put a focus on it. We're really beginning to focus on, again, almost what we could do for ourselves to make ourselves feel better. Because maybe even in the past, let's say, if we were feeling hurt and if we were feeling guarded, we might have surrounded ourselves with other people that sort of acted as a means to help us through it. We might have even, like, let's say, which of course could also be another wonderful act of self-love and self-care. Okay, there's like thin lines here. But like another act of self-care could be, you know, getting together with your best friends. But I feel like here we could have used that as almost like a crutch, if that makes sense. And that's just based on the 3 tarot cards to jump out. You know, like where in the past we might have like ignored our own feelings, ignored the way that we were feeling, pushed our own emotions down, and just focused on everything and anyone else that was taking place in our lives, which could be a whole other slew of issues that at times we might have. We might do a lot for others and not get a lot back in return. We might do a lot for others and place zero focus on ourselves, and so on and so forth. And overall, what this reading is bringing forth here is that we need to begin to focus more on ourselves. We need to take time to ourselves, for ourselves, by ourselves. We need to regain our own sense of peacefulness, stability, and security. I really feel like a huge part of this is about peace of mind. You know, we're trying to restore our peace of mind. We're trying to change the way in which we normally would restore our peace of mind. We're growing, we're healing, we're evolving. And we're placing a much stronger focus on ourselves in order to allow for ourselves to do so. I really hope that in some way, shape, or form, my pile ones, that this reading made sense or resonated with you. I hope it brought some more clarity or some more insight into whatever it is that you need to know right now. And other than that, thank you so much. And I hope that everybody has a wonderful day. Hello, my Malachite pile, my pile 2s. Let's take a quick look at what it is that you need to know right now. Let's see, what do you need to know right now, my pile 2s? What messages will jump out here for you today? Okay, we've got the 9 of muskets that jumped out for pile 1 as well. We have the 9 of swords. And we have the 10 of muskets. So the 9 of wands, the 9 of swords, and the 10 of muskets. There's a lot going on right now, pile 2. And I'm not quite sure of how you feel about it. It feels to me like we're very overwhelmed, we're very anxious, we're very stressed. The 9 of Wands to me, first and foremost, is a card that can indicate how we feel so close to achieving something, but we seem to be very nervous and very overwhelmed. The Nine of Wands is also a card that can signify that we are feeling quite wounded right now. Like we're feeling like we're at the end of our rope. We know that there's a little bit more that we have to persevere through because we are so close to achieving whatever it is that we need to achieve. But the amount of anxiety and fear and the amount of overburdening and overwhelming ourselves that we are feeling is certainly not something that is helpful or healthy to us at this point in time. Thus, what this is going to turn into, and as always, please take what resonates and leave the rest. If it doesn't resonate with you, this is not your current reality, then you can move on with your day because it is not meant for you. But what's coming through here is that I feel like we have recently achieved something, or we are so close to achieving it. And whatever it is that we are achieving, or we're in the middle of, or we're persevering through, is something that at this point in time is causing us a massive amount of anxiety, a massive amount of fear. We could have fallen into depression, etc., whatever the case might be, but we're struggling right now on a mental or emotional level. It's also highly possible that we just have so many different things going on in our lives right now that we're beginning to feel very overwhelmed by all that we have taken on. Because the Ten of Wands is certainly a card that can highlight that we are feeling overburdened and overwhelmed at this point in time. So when it comes to that, as far as advice and guidance, I feel like what's necessary here is there any way for us to begin to let go of or to release some of our responsibilities? For example, if this is something to do with we've got a lot of responsibilities at home, is there anybody who can help you? You know, is there anybody that can take some of the stress or some of the weight of the world off of your back because you're doing everything and anything right now? So is there anyone who is possible of helping you, even at work, let's say? Is there any way that there's somebody else that we can put some of these responsibilities onto so that the burden of it all or the weight of it all isn't all on us? Is this something like maybe we just need a vacation day to clear our heads, to rest, relax, and recharge? And for others, is this something that at times has been ongoing, where when we are very busy or we've got a lot going on, that we immediately feel a negative effect on our mental or emotional health? And how is it that we can then begin to relieve or to manage whatever we are going through in regard to our mental and emotional health? So there's 6 things that I always recommend. If you've gotten a reading from me before, you've heard it before. The 6 things that I always recommend are meditation, introspection, therapy, Reiki, self-love, and self-care. And I feel like it's necessary for us to take or to choose some of these things and to begin to place a stronger focus on them so that we can feel basically, when it comes to this, it's coming through with the Nine of Swords as being something that's going on mentally and emotionally. And all of these things could perhaps help us to take care of ourselves and to take care of our mental health. Okay? Whatever of that list that you feel more comfortable with. I would also recommend something such as breathing techniques or exercises, especially those that we could maybe turn to in the moment. If we're feeling stressed out or overburdened in the moment. Because I feel like what could be going on here is something like anxiety attacks or panic attacks. And for me, it's bringing through this message that we need tools that help us in the moment, as well as tools that help us throughout time, that help for us to manage. You know, like let's just say if we are in the middle of an anxiety attack, maybe there's a minute or 2 breathing technique, or even a quick, let's say, guided meditation that's going to bring us through a breathing exercise that will help for us to calm our anxiety that we are feeling in the moment. But we also perhaps need to be doing things for ourselves that help for us to manage our anxiety more long term. I hope that makes sense in some way, shape, or form. I feel like the main message here, my pile 2s, is that at this point in time, we really need to begin to place a focus on taking care of ourselves. You know, there seems to be a lot of responsibility, a lot of a lot that we are persevering through even without checking in on ourselves. And I feel like we need to begin to check in on ourselves more. We need to begin to take more time for ourselves. And one thing that I always hear, of course, is I don't have time. And I'm going to now tell you that you need to make time. You need to make time to take care of yourself. You need to make time to focus on yourself and managing whatever aspect of your health. But here it's being signified as mental or emotional health. You know, we need to make the time for ourselves to take care of ourselves. I hope that that makes sense, my pile twos. And it's not in the sense of you don't have to give up every responsibility that you have, but I would urge for you to think about if you can continue to just persevere through what you're persevering through now. You know, to the point of like, what's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back? And the first card to jump out, I just had a bunch of cards jump out, one of them being balanced. The others were like this. The balance card was like this. But we have the nourishment card jumping out first. And to me, I definitely look at the nourishment card as a card of, again, self-care. A card of us nourishing ourselves, a card of us taking care of ourselves, a card of us making sure that we ate today, that we stayed hydrated today, that we took a couple of minutes out of our day to be kinder to ourselves or to nourish ourselves, to nurture ourselves in some type of way. And right now, it is becoming, again, like what's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back? There's a need for us. Of course, there's at times a need for us to persevere through something. But at this point in time, since the Nine of Wands is a card of perseverance, of course, that could be our thing. You know, even that could be our thing. That we're somebody who's very strong, very resilient, somebody that pushes ourselves through anything and everything. But if our anxiety is getting to a point where it is out of control or having an effect on our lives and is becoming somewhat unmanageable, if the responsibilities and if the responsibilities that we have are so overwhelming to us that it's making it difficult for us to take care of ourselves, or it's making it difficult for ourselves to manage what we're going through from a mental health standpoint, then there's a need to begin to reconsider certain things that we have been putting ourselves through, let's say, and there's a need for us to begin to consider what it is that we can do for ourselves to make it not just be such a battle. Like, I feel like for some of us, it's like we are feeling comfortable almost in survival mode. And the message here is we need to get ourselves out of, let's say, survival mode. We need to begin, and not only that, but I feel like for some of us, of course, like we've always been in survival mode. We've always had to push ourselves through. And I almost feel like what this is urging for us to do is like, really take some time. Like we really need to take some time to ourselves. We really need to get ourselves out of this mindset that our survival mode is our comfort zone, because this shit ain't comfortable. You know, like this is not comfortable. There's a need for us to begin to nourish ourselves more, to begin to nourish our mind, body, and soul more, okay, than what we are currently doing or what we've been able to do in the recent past. Okay, I hope that that makes sense in some type of way. And the other card that jump out is assessing. And I feel like the assessing card is basically urging for us to assess the situation. It brings me back to some of those random questions that I was asking in the beginning of the reading, where it's like, have we eaten today? Have we stayed hydrated today? What is it that we can do for ourselves? How and where can we make time for ourselves? You know, maybe, for me personally, one of the easiest times to make time for myself is right before bed. So I have a self-care routine that I could do in my room that I'm very easily then to transition into going to sleep mode. Maybe for some of us, it's easier to fit in a couple minutes in the morning. Maybe for some of us, it's easier to take a couple moments during our lunch break. whatever the case might be, there's this need for us to place a stronger focus on ourselves. There's a need for us to assess the situation and also assess with ourselves what it is that we need. You know, like I said at the beginning, is this something where us just taking a day off to ourselves is going to help us? Or is this something that, like, that day off isn't really going to do anything for me? I need to make a better plan. I need to assess my situation, and I need to make a better plan or a more sustainable plan, because my current plan isn't sustainable any longer. My current plan, let's say, is making my mental health completely unmanageable to me. So there's a need for us to assess our current situation and figure out plans and solutions for ourselves that is going to allow for us to manage our mental health, that's going to allow for us to not feel so overwhelmed or overburdened all the time, and is going to allow for us to nourish and to nurture ourselves. So all in all, my pile twos, I do hope that this reading made sense for those of us who it is meant for. I hope that it resonates with you. I hope it gave some insight or some clarity into maybe what is going on right now and what it is that we need to know right now. I really hope that this does resonate for those of us who it is meant for. Thank you so much for allowing me to read for you today, and I hope that everybody has a wonderful day. Hello, pile 3, my fluorite pile. Let's take a look at what you need to know right now. Okay, let's see what messages are going to come through for you today. My pile 3s, what do you need to know right now? We have the Magician. We have the Page of Steel. And we have the Hanged Man. So, what this is urging for us to do is have the faith in yourself that you can achieve anything that you want in life, because you can. But at the same time, be comfortable with knowing that any delays or postponements or any things that did not work out for us are really just allowing for us to gain further perspective, is allowing us to be closer, more closely guided to what it is that we are actually meant for, and so on and so forth. This is having a very heavy rejection is protection vibe. So, the Magician card to me is going to represent our own skills, talents, and abilities. It's going to represent to me our own resources, what it is that we've got going on for ourselves. And it's also going to be indicative of manifestation. And I feel very strongly with that Magician card saying, you know, you can achieve anything that you put your mind to. With the Page of Steel, which is the Page of Swords, this is a card that's indicative of delays, postponements, things not working out, or getting, like, even, let's say, bad news about a project or something that we are working on, or even perhaps about a person. You know, like, for me, what I'm going to also say here is we could be trying to manifest love, we could be trying to manifest an opportunity, we could be trying to manifest a job offer. That Page of Swords, though, could be like, well, it's not exactly going to work out. You know, like what we're trying to manifest for might not work out, or we might have recently been trying to manifest something that did not exactly work out. And even when it comes to that, we could have recently applied for a job and the job didn't exactly work out. You know, we could have recently asked someone out or thought that things were moving forward with somebody and it did not work out. Whatever the case might be, you know, the Magician card is allowing for you to realize that you can achieve everything that you want, and having that knowledge that your skills, talents, and abilities, or that you are capable of achieving anything, that you have unlimited potential, that you have unlimited personal power over your own life and over this situation, is what you need, or is the pep talk that you need to continue forward. Because whatever this situation is that did not work out, it simply was not meant for you. The Hanged Man at times can represent a pause, it can represent going back to the drawing board, and it can represent finding new perspective. And I feel like what this is basically culminating in is that message of rejection is protection. Whatever this was that did not work out for you was truly not meant for you. And even though at the time or in the moment it really seemed like something that was going to be a great opportunity, or that this person was going to be a great partner, and so on and so forth, whatever it is that you were trying to make happen for yourself that did not work out, it was not truly meant for you. It was not what would utilize your skills, your talents, and your abilities the best. It was not something that would allow for you to reach your unlimited potential. And it was perhaps something that was not going to allow for you to move forward in the way that you had wanted it to. It simply, to me, could even be that this opportunity was not exactly what you had thought it was going to be, which was us being, let's say, divinely protected from going through an experience that would not have been conducive to bettering ourselves or making us have a happier, healthier, more fulfilling life. The Hanged Man here is urging for us to put a pause on this and to reflect upon whether or not this is something that we still truly want for ourselves. And if it is, there will be an opportunity where there will be no delays, no postponements, no negativity surrounding it, and we will be able to pursue it further into the future. But sometimes I feel like what occurs is we get so stuck on a goal or an idea or a person that we put then all of our time, effort, and energy into it, even though it's not meant for us. And the reason why is because maybe at the point in time when we had the original goal, or we were interested in that person, or the idea came to mind, we were a different person. And now we have grown, we have healed, we have evolved, we've got certain things going on in our lives. And there could be something about the situation that is just really no longer in alignment with us or what it is that we believe in. But we're so stuck on what that goal is or what that opportunity is because we've put all of this time, effort, and energy into it. Or we've even had other people say to us, oh, you would be great at this, or you should continue to pursue that opportunity. But we haven't spent a lot of time checking in with ourselves and making sure that whatever this thing is still in alignment with us. And I feel like right now what we're being urged to do is to make sure to check in with ourselves, because it could go either way. You know, we could check in with ourselves, we could find the perspective that we need and feel more passionate about whatever this goal, person, or idea is than we ever have before. Or we could take the time to find that new perspective and realize that, goal B is so much better suited for us. We just never saw it before because we were so focused on goal A. And that's why, regardless of what side of the coin you are on, you're being urged to take the time that you need to find some perspective on whatever this matter is. Now let's get 2 oracle cards out here to wrap this reading up, my pile 3s. We have Faith, which I find interesting here, the Faith message. And I feel like, to be honest, that brings me back to the rejection is protection. You know, that we still need to have faith in ourselves that this is going to work out for us, or after getting some new perspective that something else is going to work out for us. We need to continue the self-belief, all that self-belief that comes from the Magician. We believe in ourselves. We recognize our own power. We recognize our unlimited potential. We know what our skills, talents, and abilities are, and we know how we can utilize them. We need to continue to upkeep that faith in ourselves, but also there's that faith in knowing that if this didn't work out for me, there's a reason. I'm being divinely guided, and I'm being divinely protected right now in my own life. If that didn't work out for me, then that means that it wasn't meant for me. That there was something about the opportunity that would have not given me a happier, healthier, more fulfilling life. Okay, whatever the case might be. But I feel like that message of faith is the message of faith on this card is twofold. Okay, the divine protection and divine guidance, as well as continuing the self-belief. Let's try to get one more card out here. And the card to jump out is realization. And I feel like, again, regardless of what side of the coin that we are on, we are having some major realizations about whatever this goal or ideal is. We are either realizing that, again, rejection is protection. We're realizing that goal A is not going to be as fulfilling for us as goal B. We're realizing that goal A is our true dream, exactly what it is that we want to pursue, and we're continuing to pursue it, etc., and so on. But whatever this delay was, whatever this speed bump in the road was for us, it's allowing for us to gain the perspective that we need so that we can realize what it is that we truly want for ourselves. So for as frustrating and annoying or as much of even a setback as this could be, we're being urged not to lose our confidence. We're being urged rather to reflect upon the situation, gain the perspective that we need, realize what we need to realize, and continue forward accordingly after we have assessed the situation and found the new perspective that we need, while still maintaining the hope, faith, and positivity, as well as confidence in ourselves. I really hope that that makes sense to you in some way. My pile threes, I really hope that this resonated for those of us who it is meant for. Thank you so much, my pile threes, for allowing me to read for you today, and I hope that everybody has a wonderful day.